The 2025 official Strongman Games is over, and what a doozy of a weekend it's been. So, just got back from Texas. Great competition. Let's start off with that. A great weekend, some amazing performances. So good to see so many athletes performing so well. But obviously, there was controversy in this weekend. And we're going to start off with that before we go into the full results.
So I'm sure by now everyone's seen the news, but let's start with the actual competition itself, because obviously we were there. You coach Andrea Thompson, and you also coach Jammie as well.
Jammie, yep.
Yeah, so this was a class that we were super invested in. And we would have been anyway. Obviously, it's the world's strongest woman. It is the biggest title that these women can win. So the first event was a log lift for reps. Now, the athletes had a choice of multiple weights, and it's like a trump system, isn't it? So any, like, one lift on a heavier log will beat any amount of lifts on a lighter log, yeah. And this event was won by Andrea Thompson. The heaviest log, I think, was 113 kilos.
Yep.
Yeah, and she lifted it 4 times, which was good enough for the win. I think second place was with 3 reps.
Yeah, second place was Destiny Bass with 3 reps. Andrea took the win, doing what she needs to do. She is an amazing log lifter.
Yeah. So they then moved on to the frame carry, which was won by Jackie Rhodes. Jammie Booker was in second, and Andrea Thompson came third. So they then moved on to the deadlift ladder. Now, it's difficult for us to remember all of the results because Jammie's results have actually been removed from all of the official spreadsheets. Andrea Thompson absolutely won that event. She completely smashed it. She was the only athlete to get the final weight, which was about 600 pounds, was it? 272 kilos. But I think Jammie might have been second, or at absolute worst, possibly third. So we then moved on to the sandbag steeplechase. Again, I believe that one was won by Jammie, with Elira Joy coming in second and Jackie in third.
And then the 5th event was the dumbbell. This time, Andrea Thompson taking the win. Jammie Booker was second, and Jackie Rhodes was third on this one.
So at this point of the competition, Andrea Thompson had a 5-point lead going into the final event, which was the natural stones. So Jammie Booker was in second place. So Andrea, we kind of knew, and obviously, like, whoever's winning goes out last, and they were going in pairs. So we kind of knew what she had to do in order to take the win. She would have needed two in a
decent time.
Yeah. Now, this ended up being a bit of a disaster event for Andrea. She is not known for her stone lifting ability.
She's improved this year, and like the first stone went up real well. I thought she got a good chance. Second one, she totally messed up the pickup. And then rather than putting it down and resetting, she made a mistake, tried to keep fighting it, and then your energy drains and you see the time ticking off. And obviously, you know, I think at that point she knew she'd lost the competition.
Yeah. It's really her weakness, picking stuff up.
And
from
Jammie
the floor
did amazing.
like that,
Jammie won that event.
Yes.
Like, was the only athlete to do all the stones in that class.
Yeah.
And at that point, there was no controversy.
No, there was no question at that point.
There's been a lot of questions of Andrea looking really miserable walking off on the podium. If you know Andrea, and we know her very well.
We know her very well.
She is a grumpy bitch when things don't go her way. And she was just really disappointed in herself. As athletes do, we get frustrated. The last event just didn't suit her, and she was frustrated in herself, grumpy at herself.
There'd been a little bit of a level of shit talking out back as well, which Andrea doesn't take kindly to.
Yeah, some athletes have been kind of a little bit cocky, and that kind of just upset her, didn't it?
Yeah.
But at this point, nothing was known. Like, there's been questions all weekend coming at people saying, I think people
she must have known. The organisers must have known.
At this point, nobody knew anything.
And we should point out, like, maybe we're massively desensitised to it because it's the world that we live in. But we're used to seeing these outliers in terms of human anatomy in the female class. If we take Rebecca Roberts as a fine example.
Both classes, the men and women, you're just used to these freaks, if you like.
Yeah, giant people. So, like, out of context, someone who's not involved in our sport at all, and we're now suddenly getting a lot of attention from those types of people, they might say, well, it's obvious. But to us, no, absolutely not.
No,
I didn't think so.
It wasn't. And at this point, both of us went and congratulated Jammie, watched the presentation. That was that. I
will show that clip now of the full clip with sound of the podium, just so people can see, because obviously for mine you can hear everything as well.
And your 2025 World's Strongest Woman, Jammie.
It's fine. Andrea, give me face. Shite, no, fuck off. Hold him up!
So yeah, at this point, Jammie's your winner, Andrea second, and
Alira Joy.
And Alira Joy taking third place. It wasn't until the middle of the night that things started to
change
and question things. There was a lot of things popping up on one of the athletes competing in a class that they shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what transpired through the night. There's a lot more information passed about, and it turns out that Jammie competed in a class that they shouldn't have.
Yeah, so as it stood at the time, the official Strongman Games does not have a trans policy. They are very much biological males here, biological females here, and that's it. There's
and to be quite frank, okay, and I'm someone that comes from the days where Strongman was just the open men.
Just men, yeah.
There wasn't weight classes, there was literally the heavyweight men, and that was it. And what's happened is over the years we have included more and more classes. This year, more than ever.
Yeah.
You had everything from teen classes from like 13 to 16, 16 to 19.
Adaptive
men's
classes.
And women's adaptive classes, seated, standing. Then you've got the bodyweight classes, under 80s, under 90s, under 105s, lightweight masters, over 40s, over 50s, open weight men, open weight women, women's classes and weight classes under 82s, under 73s, under 64s. The list goes on. So there's so much now where people can compete. And it takes years to get to this level if you're competing in the correct class. What's happened is we've seen an athlete that's very, very new to the sport come in 5-6 months ago, did their first ever competition, took a win in that, took a second place, and now has won, or looked like they won, the world's strongest woman. This is not normal. From a coach's point of view, it's just not normal. When you look at progression of any athlete, you look at the top men, the top females, the top athletes in any class. Usually you're looking at 5 to 10 years to get to that kind of level.
Yeah.
If you're competing,
there are some exceptions.
There are exceptions, but no one's doing it in 5 months. Not even the freakiest of the freaky do it in that kind of time frame.
No. Like Andrea's trained 10 to 15 years to get to this level of strength.
Yeah, I mean, like Thor was one of the freakiest men we've ever seen, and it took him 10 years to win World's Strongest Man. So there are, Mitch Hooper is probably one of the quickest guys to get to World's Strongest Man level, but he'd been training for years, and we didn't get to see his natural progress because COVID kind of took away maybe some competitions that he would have done. So even he has been training a lot longer than people think. It takes a long time to develop strength. Now, from a coach's point of view and looking at Jammie is a good athlete, someone that has potential to be very, very good. And they've competed in a class they just shouldn't have. It's as simple as that. That is the facts.
The frustrating thing about this is that it's created a culture war now within our sport that absolutely no one asked for. This, I think, is one of the most inclusive sports that you will ever find. We know because we're deeply, deeply involved in it. And I think, it's garnered a lot of outside attention with people using it as an excuse to be transphobic. Yeah. I think most people within the sport are not transphobic. However, they do want segregation by gender or a trans class added.
There's many ways that, and look, I'm going to put my hands up and say I don't know the answers, and I'd love people to comment kindly in the comments with good suggestions, because that's what we want. We want to look at ways to include people in the correct way.
But keep the fairness for the women. It's a protected class.
This is the thing. Now, I'm seeing so many comments, you're not supporting the trans athletes. We have to support the female athletes that have been doing this for years. If someone doesn't support them, they don't have a voice and they get trampled over. And this is the reality, because if you bring a trans athlete in to a women's sport, eventually the women that are doing this are going to get destroyed. And I know it's a ridiculous conversation, but say myself wanted to compete in the women's class, I will win. Yeah. There is no question about it.
Even retired for however many years.
Yeah, broken as I am, as kind of, unpeaked as I am from my prime, I would destroy the top women. And I've had people say, "Oh, do you reckon you could beat Inez?" and people like that. And this is no offence to Inez because she is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But yes, I would destroy her in a strongwoman competition because genetically I have huge advantages. Now Jammie has come in, and I think Jammie could be a great athlete given 5 years of development. And I have no issue with, as a former athlete, if a trans athlete wanted to compete against me. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. Just like I competed against gay guys, just like I compete against anyone. I don't care. In the men's open class, anyone can compete if you are good enough. However, I cannot compete as a woman. I cannot compete as an under 80 kilo athlete. Liz cannot enter the under 16s or under 13 to 16s.
I would actually do well in that
because that's
class.
a class that you could probably do okay in.
Yeah.
The fact is, you cannot.
No.
Because this is why we have these classes, is to protect athletes and get them competing where they should be competing.
And to level the playing field as much as possible, because there are always going to be outliers, like we said, in an open class especially. But if you take like the under 80 kilo men as an example, these are smaller framed men, because you can't be a big framed person under 80 kilos and be strong. You'd look like a skeleton probably, wouldn't you? So you can't, like, it wouldn't be fair for that class to have open men suddenly coming in, because they wouldn't be able to keep up with them at all.
Exactly. We'd see no champions. You'd just have Mitch Hooper or Tom Stoltman and those kind of guys.
If we got rid of the classes and it was open for all, yeah, it would just be the open men would dominate and destroy absolutely everyone.
So maybe in the future, we do look at different classes, we look at options. No one here is trying to say someone cannot compete in the sport. What we're looking at is a world championships, which you do not have the right to compete into.
Well, it's a privilege, isn't it?
It's a privilege. You have to earn the spot and in the correct class.
Okay, so one argument that I'm seeing commonly is like about test levels. Oh, these women are on so much gear, so it balances out anyway. But testosterone levels, first off, it's an untested sport, right? But testosterone levels are not the only fundamental differences between men and women. It's one advantage that men have over women, but there are many, many others.
We can go quite deeply into this, but you will get, and I can promise you this, there are men that have taken testosterone that will be able to get their testosterone level so low that they could compete in a woman's class. So that argument is ridiculous. And there are women out there that compete naturally.
Yeah, there are, yeah.
There's not even...
Some of the top women in the world are natural. They go and win the natural
There are some
competitions, yeah.
amazing athletes out there, both on the men's and women's side. Let's get that right. I mean, everyone always throws that card in there.
Oh, who cares, because they're all on gear
yes,
anyway. Yeah.
A lot of them do.
But I could blast as much gear as I liked. I would like, and I'm a bad example because I'm a small framed person. Let's take a big person. Let's take Rebecca Roberts. She will never get close to the numbers that the open men are doing. Do you know what I mean? The women just, we can't physically compete with men. That's why women's classes were introduced in the first place.
That's why there's such disparity between the when we're talking we're talking the very best. Yeah. So yes, there are women out there that can beat men. No question about that at all. But when we are talking the very best, you are looking at 200 plus kilos difference.
Yeah.
440 pounds difference.
In the deadlift world records,
as an example.
Yeah.
And there's more in other lifts.
Yeah.
It's the best woman, the absolute best woman would be destroyed by the 10,000th best man in a strongman competition. That is the reality.
Well, wasn't like, you know, the Williams sisters in tennis, they went up against like some college level boys at their absolute best.
And
the women were
in tennis,
and they were thrash.
Skill is still a huge, advantage.
Yeah.
But yes, that's fundamental strength advantage that the males have is going to come through.
You know, the saddest thing about all of this now is like the women that we're trying to protect are now being attacked by people online, going through all their old posts, being accused of being men. It's just created such ugliness within our sport, and it's sad. Jammie has been no one should be attacking Jammie. The title has been stripped. She's been publicly outed and disqualified. You don't need to go and then abuse her. It's just completely unnecessary. It's just it's a sad situation all round, I think, when everyone loses. Andrea lost her moment on the podium that she should have been able to enjoy, and all of the glory that came with it.
You know, you can go down that list. Jackie lost her moment on the podium.
Yeah.
Whoever came 11th didn't get their opportunity to
compete in the final.
So we can kind of go on that. And there's been other competitions.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a very open-minded person. I do not mind anyone competing in sport. I don't mind anyone coming to the gym and training hard and wanting to better yourself in whatever you want to do. But I do have a problem with a biological male competing in women's sports. It's just wrong, in my opinion. Now, how do we go about making people more inclusive? That's a discussion for a different time. It's something that I think people do need to be open about.
I think it would be so easy to add like a lightweight and an open weight trans class next year.
But maybe is that the right or wrong answer? I don't know. Okay, and we're not sitting here saying we have the answers.
No.
Maybe that's not the right answer.
Maybe.
There's so many issues to kind of look into. But fundamentally, if you want to do this sport, you can. And whether you're male, female, trans, whatever you want to identify as, find a competition at the right level that you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
But do not feel you've got the right to go and step into a competition that you do not have the right to do. There are plenty of novice strongman competitions, or strongman is a word we use to describe the sport.
Whole sport.
But I'm going to stick with that. There's plenty of novice strongman competitions that you can do around the world. And as an athlete like Jammie, I can see potential. They are very good. But technically nowhere near the top women. You compare Inez to Jammie. Inez is the pinnacle of the sport right now in terms of the females. She's number one in the world. Andrea's just won the World's Strongest Woman title. And the difference in terms of technical ability is huge. But the raw strength that Jammie has is huge. And you give Jammie 2 years, none of the women would be able to touch her because of genetics.
Yeah.
It's eventually... You may get a trans person that wins World's Strongest Man, if they're good enough. There's nothing to say they couldn't. Now that might suck as a man with a big ego if you got beat, but that's not really a big issue. I don't think.
Right, a trans,
yes.
Okay, I was going to say woman to male, no you wouldn't.
No.
No, right, okay.
Other way around.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is in that scenario there's nothing stopping them competing.
No, but I understand why they would never, because they identify as women. They don't want to be lumbered in with the men. So I do understand the sensitive issues around it.
When we're talking sport, let's take darts as a different example because strength isn't an issue.
Yeah.
Darts, they have an open class.
Yeah, men and women compete against each other.
But it's dominated by men.
Yeah.
But if you are good enough as a woman, you compete at the World Championships.
Yeah.
They have a separate Women's World Championships.
Yeah, just to give them a chance.
Yes.
Yeah, because the women still can't compete with
this
men.
Maybe it is we're at a point where we have an open class rather than the Men's World Championships.
So technically a woman
it's just the best of the best.
Yeah, but the women wouldn't compare. We know.
No, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. And I've seen women compete in men's competitions at lower levels.
Yeah.
And some men get upset about it. I wouldn't care if a woman competed against me because all I care about is being the best.
If she was strong enough.
But there should be the protection for other people in the different classes. So that's why we have the under 80s, the under 90s, the 105s, the masters, the juniors, the disabled classes. That is why they are there. And that's what I'm trying to explain to people, that these classes are there for a reason. If we disregard all those classes and just have open, you're all fucked. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, because the big men will just walk over everyone. Oh dear, like we said, a doozy of a weekend. However, official strongman have officially announced that Jammie has been disqualified because of rule breaking, and Andrea has now been established as the world's strongest woman champion for 2025. Everyone else has been bumped up that list. So Eligibility Cowley is now second place. Jackie Uchevsky is back on the podium in third place.
Jackie Ochevsky.
Sorry. Jackie Rhodes in fourth place. Katie Blunden in fifth place. Nadia Stowers in sixth. Destiny Bass in seventh. Ellie Latemore in ninth. And shout out to Taylor Doxey, who would have been able to compete in the final. She's been added as the 10th strongest woman in the world, but of course, because only the top 10 do the final events, she didn't actually get to do those events.
So should we move on to more positive things that happened at OSG this weekend?
Yes, please, let's. So let's go into the men's open then, because this is also a really important competition. So while it's not a world title in the same way that the women's equivalent is, it is a qualifier for Giants Live competition, which puts these athletes on the pathway to the world's strongest man.
Yeah, and it was a great competition. I mean, really dominated by Josh Pateka.
Josh won the competition before the final event. He actually was like 13 points ahead before going into the stones.
Ridiculous. He was superb all weekend. Now, I think he placed 5th at this competition last year.
Yeah, no, he was 6th, but he came in with like 2 weeks' notice last year.
Yeah, this year, very well prepared, a different Josh. This man is going to be very, very exciting to see at future high-level shows. Another great Australian as well.
Yeah, really cool to see great results from the Aussies lately, because Jordan Osborne just came second at the Magnuson Classic.
Yeah, the Aussies. I noticed this about the Aussies this weekend. They're coming from so far. It's a big trip, but they're doing well.
They are.
And the progress from the Australian side has been very evident in the last 5 years.
Yeah, really excited to see. James Jeffers in second place. James the Train Jeffers. Really happy for him because he's done this competition twice before. First year he was 5th. Last year he was 4th. Was hoping for 3rd this year. Exceeded all of our expectations and came in 2nd.
Yeah, and then Mateusz Finok, the 20-year-old phenom from Czech Republic.
Yeah.
This kid is absolutely insane.
This is such an exciting new athlete. I think the stone series, right, that everyone was struggling with, especially the 3rd stone because of the shape and size of it. He one-motioned it. This guy is seriously impressive. I'm so excited to see him at Giants Live next year.
This guy has potential to be a Thor type of athlete.
Yeah. Do you know what really stands out? No Americans in the top 3 this year. This has been a largely dominated by American show, hasn't it?
Yeah, and if you look at that top 10, there are only two Americans in that top 10. That's got to be a first for OSG.
It just goes to show that we're getting more and more athletes from different parts of the world, seeing this as the,
this is the route now. This is the route that people need to take if they want to get to that top level. This is where the organisers are looking. This is what World's Strongest Man, Giants Live, they are looking at the results from these competitions. So if you want to make it, this is where you need to be.
Yeah, so congratulations to those 3 who will all be in Giants Live competitions in 2026. So we've kind of already really banged on in this video, but we do want to use it as an opportunity to congratulate all of the people who competed in OSG and just recognise the top 3 in each of those classes. So starting with the women's 50 plus, congratulations Melanie Poe. Oh God, I'm going to butcher so many names. Melanie in 3rd place, T York in 2nd place, and then Claire Myler in 1st.
So in the lightweight masters women's class, we have Jamie Strong in 3rd, Christine Galvin in 2nd, and Sherry Zimmerman taking 1st place. All 3 athletes from the USA.
In the women's 64 kilos, congratulations to Megan Davis in 3rd, Kate Connolly in 2nd, and Camilla Fogagnolo in 1st. I really struggle with her name.
So then we have the women's over 40s masters class, Andrea Seed taking 3rd place, Michaela Persson in 2nd, and Claire friggin' Myler taking her 2nd win of the day in 1st place. Claire loves to do 2 shows. She is crazy.
She's insane. Do you know what's so cool though? She's the first person to compete at OSG and win 2 classes in the same year.
She's the double champ.
Cool. She is the double champ. We've had other athletes. Erin Murray's a great example. She's won titles in the 73s and the 82s, but not in the same year. So in the women's under 73 kilo class, we had Camilla Fogagnolo again. She came 3rd in this one. Nicola Ann Bennett was 2nd, and Sarah Johnson was 1st.
And in the under 82 kilo class, we had Chelsea Held in 3rd place, Ashley Crawford in 2nd, and Erin Murray taking 1st place. I do want to give a shout out to Sandra Bradley. She absolutely smashed the competition early on. Unfortunately picked up a back injury.
Oh, shame.
And I think she's announced it as her last competition.
Oh, no.
So I do want to give her a little shout out because she was doing tremendously well. But yes, congratulations to the podium in this class.
So moving on to the men's classes and starting with the under 80 kilo men, we've got Finley Mercer who placed 3rd, Chris Harper in 2nd, and Mason Cupp in 1st. 2 Scotsmen on the
Two
podium.
Scottish guys on there. Well done to those guys. Now this was a class that a lot of people wanted to see, the Masters over 50s. George Person from the USA taking 3rd place, Mark Felix taking 2nd, and Zydrunas Zaviskas, first time for him in the over 50s, taking another world title. That's probably like his 25th world title at this point. But yeah, Zydrunas taking the win in that class.
In the men's masters lightweight class, we had John Doe in 3rd, Damon Curtis in 2nd, and Paul Mwanza in 1st.
In the men's 90 kilo class, Tyler Davis taking 3rd place, Philip Zerchek in 2nd place. Philip is incredible. I know I've butchered his name, but he is an incredible athlete to watch. And Victor Lingman from Sweden taking 1st place.
And in the under 105 men's class, congratulations to Brandon Burley in 3rd place, Devon DJ Doggett in 2nd, and Emmanuel Pescari. Now, these are all incredible athletes, but I just want to shout out to Devon Doggett because I'm not sure he's ever really been on my radar before. I'm sure he's competed loads. He's so impressive.
He really is. I mean, this guy came 2nd with a 0 on the log.
Yeah, I mean, this man, he's very tall, very slim actually.
Yeah.
Looking at him right before the dumbbell, I was thinking, oh no, he's not built well for a dumbbell. His arms are so long. But my goodness, it was like watching a magic trick, seeing him get them all up. It was so impressive.
Yeah, great athlete. The 105s are always good to watch. Very, very competitive class. And finally, in the Masters 40 plus class, we had Daniel Pledger from the USA taking third place, the awesome Canadian JF Caron in second, and Dimitar Savatinov taking first place.
Yeah. So many good classes, so many incredible performances. Unfortunately, obviously the big story is what happened in the Women's Open, but we don't want that to take away from all of the
There was
great
a lot
athletes.
of positives this weekend.
Yeah,
Just want to give a shout out to OSG for a number of things. They keep improving year on year. The system they had backstage for athletes to know when they were out, that was a real good addition
so
this year.
good, yeah.
The live stream just seems to get better and better and better. ADL doing an amazing job with that. I'm going to give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Obviously, I spoke to Don at the end. He was disappointed I wasn't doing the commentating, but I was there to coach my athletes.
He was disappointed we didn't visit him very often, and the couple of times I went down, I made the mistake of like putting a drink on the desk and he'd be like, "Get off the desk!"
but you know, I think watching it on the live stream is probably the best way to view official strongman games.
Realistically, yes, it's a long weekend, but with lots and lots of hard-working volunteers, athletes, everyone behind the scenes who makes this happen.
Yeah, the whole team they have working for them. I mean, refereeing is a difficult job. There was some questions with refereeing. I just want to give Tiffany a shout out because I think from Australia they've got. I mean, we've seen great athletes coming over, but they've got a good system in terms of refereeing. They actually train the referees, and I think it was quite obvious. And I think that's something that maybe we can kind of evolve a little bit in terms of taking to the whole sport, but particularly OSG, because you've got so many lanes, different referees and different lanes, I guess you do get some inconsistencies with calls. So that's something that I'd like to see improve, but overall they do an amazing job. Every year it gets bigger and better. We want to see the suggestions that people have to make it more inclusive, but let's remember, let's keep common sense in there, protect the athletes that have been doing this for a long time, and the women that are putting years and years and years into training. They should feel protected to compete in the correct class. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you leave a comment below, and we'll catch you guys next time.